Welcome to Operation Football Preview. We are officially out of week 1 and we are into week 2 of the high school football season here in Ohio. It is Tuesday, August 26th, but this will be airing, of course, throughout the week as we count down to kickoff for another exciting week of high school football. But I don't know if we can beat what we saw in week 1. That was a pretty high bar to reach.
What an exciting Battle of Kettering for the 58th edition of that crosstown rivalry. And your first game, Kayler, in the Miami Valley. So, I mean, maybe brought some good luck here for this football season. Hopefully they're all like that. But, yeah, I mean, we always know that game is always so competitive, so high stakes, such a storied and you know, rich tradition-filled rivalry. And, you know, it's overall in the all-time series has really gone back and forth. But lately, you know, it was Fairmont. But how about Alter, Ed Domsites and the Knights coming into Rouse Stadium
Digging deep.
And just getting
in the final moments.
A gritty win, and I'll let you take the reins on what that final play was, because
before we show the final play, let's set it up. So it was tied 21-21. Well, actually, it was tied 7-7 at the half. Alter comes out and scores out of the halftime break, so it's 14-7. But then Fairmont scores back-to-back touchdowns.
Yep.
Feels like a total momentum shift. Fairmont's way. They're up 21-14. Alter has the ball with about 5 minutes left, just under 6 minutes. They drive down the field, eat up all the clock they can, and score to tie it up 21-21. Fairmont gets the ball back with 30 seconds left. And these are two running teams. So if you're at the stadium, you're sitting here thinking, all right, we're probably going to overtime. Right. They're not going to try to – they got an 80-yard, 70-yard drive, you know.
Play it safe.
Yeah, I mean, might as well just take it to overtime.
Right.
No? First play of Fairmont's drive, here it is. They drop back to pass, and when the game is on the line, Alter strip sack, fumble, scoop, and score to take a 28-21 lead with about 30 seconds left in the game, and that would be what iced it. And that stadium was juiced, let me tell you. Even though the Fairmont side had more people, the Alter side was definitely louder.
Pandemonium in Kettering. You see the shots there, the final moments. We talked about, you know, the guys who were responsible for that. Noah Ogburn, who you got a chance to talk to.
There he is right there, actually.
In preseason, looking for that TFL record, just disrupting this play right in there. And then his teammate Wyatt Reefschneider, it just falls right in his lap almost. I mean, it's just right in front of him. And, you know, he talked later, and I think we'll hear it in this bite coming up, about how he just, like, couldn't believe it. The ball was just, like, right there, and he grabbed it and go. And then look at the Knights just –
well, they hadn't won this game in 5 years, and the senior class had never won this game. So to be able to go out on top in this specific way was crazy. I mean, I was holding the camera shooting that play, and I was trying to just keep myself calm. I felt the adrenaline in that moment, and I couldn't imagine being on the team and what they must have been. And that's why I asked Reefschneider that after the game. I was like, what were you feeling? Were you hearing anything? Were you seeing anything? Were the blinders
just tunnel
on?
vision, right?
Yes, because it was just such an insane peak energy moment. It just it makes you miss playing sports, honestly.
And for anybody who doesn't know, too, for what it's like for us shooting, anytime there's a play that happens far away from you, we can only zoom in so far on our cameras. Yeah. So the more you move, the shakier the shot's going to be. And
so
especially
I was trying so hard to just stand still. Play it one more time, Joey.
I'll play it right here.
So you see Ogburn flying from behind, knock the ball out. And, yeah, he's running away from my camera, and so that's as far – I'm zoomed as far as I can be right there.
Right, you're about 60, 70 yards away.
I'm trying not to shake myself because, I'm on the opposite 30 or 20.
It's exciting.
Oh, what a moment.
Awesome.
I told Joey, I think I just have to quit because it's never going to get better than that. That was one of the best games I've ever seen.
It's going to be
and
hard
it was
to
my
top.
very first one in Ohio.
Well, it started off great, and what was so funny, too, was your interaction with Ed Domsites after – and the way he described that win
and
to you.
Fans here in Ohio, they'll remember this.
Yeah.
Let's hear what he had to say.
Been a while since we were the Kings of Kettering, but it looks like we're back at least for another year. Great ball game. Our kids never gave up. Both sides played their heart out. It's a little bit like watching Ohio State in that Texas game. It didn't look real good. It looked like we were going to be going into overtime. And then all of a sudden we're celebrating.
I wasn't paying attention to anything. I was just coming up for the run. The ball popped out. That surprised me. I picked up the ball and ran as fast as I could to the end zone. It honestly means everything. I mean, I love this team so much, and losing to these guys for 5 years in a row is like, it just hurts, man. So, I mean, getting that winning touchdown feels amazing.
I mean, look at that celebration.
Awesome.
And yeah, he put the nail on the, I was thinking it in the moment. This is Ohio State, Jack Sawyer winning against Texas in the college football playoff semifinal. And he said it right there. I couldn't have set it up better.
Sports, there's so much continuity. There's so much mirroring. And, you know, it's so cool to see it happen, you know, obviously for Ohio State, but to see something so similar happen for a rivalry like this. This was obviously more if it was like for Ohio State, if it was like Michigan, Ohio State, obviously, but still, regardless, awesome moment for Alter. Good for Ed Domsites and company. You know, he's got a great sense of humor. Getting to hear from him and Dave Miller at that starter banquet that I got to MC this year. You know, Ed jokes saying, "Oh, if I lose the fifth in a row, do I have to come back to this banquet?" So,
snap the losing streak 4 in a row.
You have to go back now, Ed, because now you are the winning coach in the Battle of Kettering.
Now, what's he going to have to say about that play at next year's banquet?
I can't wait. I hope they get to ask me back, so because I can hear what they have to say. So,
but you brought up a good point with Ogburn. He's the one who knocked out the ball there in that final play. He was only 4 tackles for loss away from the program record, and he did get a couple on Friday. I don't know if that last play counted or not, but he did get a couple on Friday, so he should only be 1 or 2 games away from getting Alter's career program record for TFLs.
Well, we will be monitoring that too, as we will be having Alter here in our Week 2 highlights. They'll be playing Taft, a team out of Cincinnati, always a strong team out of the Queen City area. Last year wasn't Alter's best performance against them, though, 36-7. Falling to Taft in Week 2 again. So, but Alter, like we mentioned, you know, riding high after this win. You know, this game also at Miamisburg, since, you know, Alter doesn't have their own stadium. So a little bit more home field advantage, if you will, for the Knights playing at Holland Field, home of the Vikings. So, you know, it could be another big game for them and a chance for the Knights to go 2-0,
And remember, Alter didn't get out to a good start last year, but they still made it to the, third to last round of the playoffs?
Regional final, who they saw, Taft, again, another, you know, not much closer, 26-6 in that loss, but they made it to the regional final, as we've talked about before, 2023. A year I don't think anybody expected this Alter team to go all the way to the state championship in Division 4, going all the way to Canton to lose to a very talented Glenville team. D1 talent up and down that roster for them. They lost 38-3 in Canton in the state championship game. But
so this is all to say, even if they don't come out on top on Tuesday, I mean, this team has shown it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
They can take this season deep into the postseason if they want to.
How about regular season? They were 7-3 going into the postseason 2 years ago before state championship run, which is really, you know, that's a solid year. But
I think last year they had lost something like 5 games in the regular season.
They were 5-5 going into the postseason.
Yeah.
So, and then going all the way to the regional final. So you never know with this Alter team. Obviously, traditional football, they run that wishbone, and, you know, led by Dom Sites, you know, anything is possible. So we'll be keeping an eye on Alter for that game, and then kind of looking at Friday night's lineup too. Another game that you were at, Kayler, for our game of the week, Tippecanoe Bellbrook. We've seen this one carry so much weight, just like the Battle of Kettering before. A non-conference rivalry, though. It did not, though, live up to the billing, unfortunately, for Bellbrook's side. But it was really Tip kind of running away and dominating this one.
This game had been very competitive, back and forth. No team had won 2 consecutive years. Bellbrook won 2 consecutive games, but they were spread out by a few years. But other than that, nobody had won 2 consecutive years. It's been traded back and forth the last 4 years. So it was kind of surprising to see Tippecanoe just come out and just really be absolutely dominant. Especially because after being at Bellbrook's practice leading up to the game, they were very locked in and very determined to win this game. So to be completely shut out as they were, Tippecanoe went on to win 21-0. Was just a little bit of a surprise, honestly. But it was a quick game, and it just felt like Tip kind of dominated through and through. Even though they only scored 3 times, it felt like they could have scored probably 5 times.
Yeah, we've seen the way this non-conference rivalry go, and these two coaches and these two programs have so much respect for each other. We hear both from Coach Bergbacher there and, of course, Jeff Jenkins on Bellbrook's side of how much they love scheduling this game week 1 because 2 Division III schools, We talked about, obviously, the playoff implications for both of them. Very well could see that rematch in a regional semifinal, regional final more likely in the same region. So it's obviously a great test for either side, even though Tip won 21-0, and you may think, oh, well, Tip didn't really get out of that anything. I mean, it's still a hard game to prepare for them regardless. I mean, Bellbrook will always show up, and it definitely helps both teams regardless of the result, because now Bellbrook, like they did last year, carries a real, heartbreak, emotional loss into the rest of their season, and you feel bad for the rest of the teams that Bellbrook has to play after that. They went on an undefeated run after losing to Tippecanoe last year. So they lost 28-7. They went on to beat Bell Fountain, who was led by Tavian St. Clair, now at Ohio State, one of the best players in the country. They beat Valley View. They beat Ponens. They beat Alter. They beat Edgewood. They beat Franklin, Monroe,
that's
Oakwood.
A stacked
Yeah,
lineup, too.
They always have one of the tougher non-conference schedules. When you're opening your season against Tip, Bell Fountain, Valley View, and Alter, I mean, Jenkins knows how to get his guys ready.
In there.
No. And they're winning those games. They go on again to the regional final. They lose a really close one to London, 13-0. They beat a very good Wapakoneta team last season. The Golden Eagles did, and they're still searching for that first state semifinals appearance. But I'd hate to be a team that has to face Bellbrook after they especially lose to Tippecanoe, just looking at what happened last year.
If they can keep that mental fortitude, the feeling of coming out and not scoring at all in your season opener after working all summer for that's really got to be a demoralizing feeling. So if they are able to bounce back like they did, I mean, they at least scored a touchdown in last year's season opener, but if they're able to bounce back like they did last year and after last year's season opener, rather, it'll be fun to see, if they're able to.
Yeah, and again here for week 2, just looking at the schedule for Bellbrook, they are going to see Bell Fountain again. Should be another great one. We are going to be at that game. I'll be there, actually, getting those highlights at Miami Valley South Stadium. And it's another St. Clair under center for Bell Fountain.
What?
How about Tavian's little brother, a sophomore, Rain St. Clair?
Wow.
How about 19 for 25, 329 yards and 2 touchdowns, 0 overtimes. Zero interceptions, and the Chieftains won handily 55-22 over Sydney. So yeah, another St. Clair.
That family just pumps them out.
they know how to produce some quarterback talent out of there in Bell Fountain. So that should be another great game. Will be really cool to see another St. Clair in action for the Chieftains. But Bellbrook's going to come ready for that one because they know that they want to use that loss to Tip to kind of fuel them forward. They have to just kind of flush it, right? And you got to move on, and you have another tough team in Bell Fountain, and then they have that same lineup again of tough non-conference foes. After Bell Fountain, they go to Valley View at Valley View again, who we just saw in a shootout overtime with Coldwater, 48-47, I believe was that final.
The reigning state champions. It was 49-48.
Right, 49-48. Thank you. Defending Division 6 state champion Coldwater came out on top in that one, but Valley View always seems to be in those back and forth high offensive battles with teams. We saw them the last couple of years with Waynesville, those two rivals, always doing that in week 10 and in the playoffs too. But going back to Bellbrook, so Tip, they got Bell Fountain this week here in week 2, at Valley View, at Chaminade Julienne, and at Alter. So on the road, 3 consecutive weeks against one of the best teams in Division 5 in their conference in the Swabble and Valley View, and then 2 GCL opponents at CJ and that at Alter. So Bellbrook obviously always with a tough schedule, but this is really where we'll see what the Golden Eagles are made of this year. So we'll be interested to see. And then we have, of course, plenty more to get to with the games coming up here for week 2. We're going to take a look at our next game of the week. We thought it couldn't get any better with that first game with Fairmont, but we're going to get a chance to see him again.
Can they bounce back?
Can they bounce back as well? So a lot on the line for these next 2 teams for our game of the week. We'll have more coming up right here at the break at the Operation Football Preview.
Welcome back to Operation Football Preview. We are counting down to kick off this Friday of week 2 of the high school football season. Can't wait for it. And our game of the week takes us back to the Firebirds already. Again, I know it wasn't our game of the week in week 1, but it kind of felt like it with that Thursday night showdown.
The unofficial first game of the week before the game of the week.
Yeah. So we're going back to Rouch Stadium, where the Firebirds will host Trotwood Madison for the 6th time in the last 7 years. We've got head coach Jeff Graham, the Alter grad and former NFL player and Ohio State Buckeye, over there at the helm at Trotwood Madison. Him and head coach Dave Miller for Fairmont have a good relationship. They've made it a point to schedule this game as much as they can in the last few years since they've both been at the helm of these programs. Graham's been there about 12 years, and Coach Dave Miller's in his, 10th?
Yep, 10th season
year,
now for Dave Miller.
Yeah.
So
6th time that these two teams have faced off in the last 7 years. And Fairmont, again, another competitive series we're seeing in a lot of these non-con series. Former GWAC foes, Trotwood Madison not in the GWAC anymore, but they used to go head-to-head when they were conference opponents. But as non-conference opponents in the last several years, Fairmont leads the series 3-2 in the last 5 matchups since 2019, including last year's 27-18 win. Now, the Rams are actually looking for their first win since 2023, the year prior, and that was a dominant win, 38-8. Very talented team is what I learned from Coach Graham, was that 2023 team. Joey, you were here for that.
Very good. Great quarterback, too. Timothy Carpenter, Division I quarterback right now.
Where at?
He was at Tulsa, and then he just transferred. I can give you that answer. Stand by.
Hold, please.
He's at the OU.
Which one?
Ohio Bobcats.
Okay.
So there you go. He came back home to join the Ohio Bobcats in the MAC.
Midwest and Big 12 grower-upper here. OU means Oklahoma.
Oh, there you go. See?
I was like,
she's learning, Ohio folks. Yeah. They were.
Well, that would make sense if he went from Tulsa to OU.
That would if he stayed. I think the coach left though at Tulsa, which caused him to enter the portal. But he was very talented. They've always had really good players on these Trotwood teams under Graham. Just last year, Jermail Aikens, also one of the best basketball players in the state, now going to play. Now I believe he's a freshman at Kentucky. So big name SEC school. So.
They've got another defensive tackle going Division I as well. Jamarcus Weiss committed to Purdue this summer, and I got to talk to him yesterday when I visited them at practice as well. Little personal, another Kayler connection, if you will. So Purdue has a new head coach. His name is Barry Odom, who is a Mizzou alum, just like me.
There you go.
He played football at Mizzou, and he was the defensive coordinator and then the head coach for Mizzou when I actually started college there. They did fire him my freshman year. Just things weren't working out. He was going like 6-5 a bunch of times in a row. So they fired him. And then he went to Arkansas. And then then he went to UNLV last year. Remember when UNLV had that really great run? And now he's the head coach at Purdue after Purdue completely cleaned house last year. So pretty cool. I got to talk to him about that, and like he loves the idea of Barry Odom. Thinks he's a great guy. Loves the program because Barry Odom's a defensive coach too. He was a defensive player, defensive coordinator before he became a head coach. So, anyways, just a small connection there about
so many of them.
Jamarcus Weiss and how he's going to play for the Boilermakers next year.
And it's always exciting too when you talk about the defensive talent that Trotwood has. What better test for that Fairmont running offense than those big guys, those Division I level talent guys that Trotwood has up front.
And vice versa, really.
Right.
What a good challenge for that Trotwood defense than that triple option. I talked to him a little bit about that. Obviously, not when I say him, I mean Coach Graham.
Right.
Obviously, they're used to this. They've gone up against one another several years in a row, and Fairmont's system hasn't changed. So these coaches, when you're in an area like this where the run offense is so prevalent, you know how to defend it. Like you're doing this scheme every year, at least once a year. So, it's kind of the same thing. Like, don't follow the ball. Like, if you think he's going this way, he might be going this way. He might
throws
pull
us
it.
off too on the sidelines.
Exactly. I mean, I can totally see how it would throw the defenses off because it's hard for us to follow ourselves with a camera. So, anyways, good challenge for both sides, and should be a good matchup.
Yeah, and Coach Graham obviously talking very highly of that Fairmont offense, and Coach Dave Miller, we'll hear it here in just a second. But these two obviously always putting on a show. It's made for a great game of the week. week 2 for Operation Football in years past, and hopefully this one also can kind of achieve that, that same hype and that same anticipation. But
and
of
something
course,
new for Fairmont to see as well,
Absolutely.
with more of a spread offense, which I'm actually excited for, to be able to shoot a game with more of a
Right.
spread offense. That's kind of what I'm used to
Right.
coming from where
Lot
I
of
was in
speed.
Texas. A lot of deep downfield
Yep.
plays. Like, I'm excited to see that, and that's kind of where they want to be, is
Yeah.
what they said. They want to
And-
be able to get those chunk plays.
That's right. And Trotwood knows how to have those kind of home run ball kind of plays. And, they have the athleticism, they have the speed. So it's a totally different type of matchup now.
And I haven't really gotten to cover a team here yet that had that type of spread
Right.
offense. So I'm excited to see something a little more familiar and a little different
Yep.
than what I've seen these first couple weeks.
And it'll be great, too, once we fully get into the GWAC coverage, too. The way Centerville, Springboro, and Wayne all play is really unique. And, I mean, obviously the GWAC is one of the best conferences in the state for a reason. But we'll play the little clip here from Kayler being out at practice at Trotwood, hearing from Coach Graham on getting ready for this big matchup.
Very excited. We anticipate a great game. It's going to be a hostile turnout. Fairmont, with Coach Dave Miller, since I've been a head coach, we've always scheduled this game, and I think we do that for a reason, because we know we want to compete against each other. They have a strong team, all 3 phases of the game. They got size, they have speed, and the kids play very hard. So we just have to go out there and understand our keys and reads and our gap responsibilities on defense, and then on offense we just got to make plays and control the line of scrimmage.
Well, there you hear it. Make the big plays and be able to key down on that triple option.
Yeah,
And I will say, we talked a lot about Logan Doty leading up to this season for Fairmont, and how he was 1,200 yards, 25 touchdowns, if I remember correctly.
Sounds right.
He was pretty well locked down by the Alter defense last week. So it'd be interesting to see if he can finally break out a little bit in week 2 against this Trotwood defense.
Yeah, and of course Trotwood coming off a big win over Cleveland Heights too. They won that game pretty handily.
The Kelseys
at home. Yeah, the
high
Kelseys.
school,
There you go.
Jason and Travis.
They weren't in the news at all today, or this week rather.
Little ringy dingy.
So yeah, of course it should be another good one. This one at Roush. So Fairmont gets the kind of the luxury of being back home again for this one, but Trotwood came into hostile territory just a couple years ago in that 2023 matchup and took care of business pretty handily.
Yeah, it's funny, and then they lost at home last year,
Right.
so maybe the away team has the advantage in this game.
Yeah. We'll just wait and see. Plenty of good games, too. Before we kind of wrap up the show here, just taking a look at some of the other ones we'll be at. In the MVL, Xenia taking on Troy. Xenia getting that early, overcoming that early deficit. Beaver Creek took a 12-7 lead early in that opener, and then Xenia kind of turned it on from there. Troy, tough loss against Middletown Madison. They always see each other in the week 1 opener, but a much better game, only 28-20 that Troy lost last year. I think it was much worse than that. That's right, 28-18. So a little bit closer of a matchup, not too bad from last year. But so 2 MVL heavyweights slugging it out. Piqua at Tippecanoe. Tip looking to make
Wow, a
it 2-0.
conference game, week 2?
Conference games,
Wow.
week 2 in the MVL. Now we're just waiting for the GWAC to get going. Looking at that, all the GWAC schools are out of area this week, playing out of area teams rather. But we are going to be at Elder Springboro because that is going to be such a big matchup. But that'll be for week 3. But this week at Cincinnati, Woodward at Beaver Creek, Miamisburg at Dublin Kaufman, LaSalle at Northmont, Edgewood at Springboro, Centerville at St. X. St. X there, that is the former school of Chase Herbstreit, the son of Kirk Herbstreit. So that was our game of the week last year. Kirk was in town. That game was
That's
at
awesome.
Centerville, and they made it Kirk Herbstreit.
Part
Day
of
in-
his
in
map
Centerville.
of
Yep.
what he does from Thursday to Sunday.
That's right. Yep. And then Fairmont at Trotwood, obviously our game of the week, and then Wayne at Pick Central. So we'll still have to wait even one more week after. So week 4 is finally when we are in the heart of conference on conference of the GWAC at least. But yeah, some other great games still. Greenview at Waynesville, a WOAC team taking on a Swabble team in Waynesville. That was a great game last year. If I can pull it up here quickly before our time runs out, I can tell you, because that game was insane. I was there. It was a Thursday night game. That's right. Greenview won 40-28, but that score is not indicative of how close it was. I mean, it was touchdown Greenview, touchdown Waynesville, kind of like what we just saw in Valley View, Coldwater. So that should be a good one. We'll have Taft, Alter, and then Sydney, Fairborn, and Butler, Stebbins. So lots conference games, of course, a lot of inter-Miami Valley League matchups that we will have and keep our eye on. Of course, we'll have all the scores for you. Operation Football Week 2, it's already here.
Quick question, does Stebbins have a team to field this week?
I think they should be okay.
Their game was suspended last week, wasn't it?
For
numbers?
That was Stivers.
My apologies.
That's okay. Yeah, Stivers. So quick.
Still getting used to all of the names here.
That's okay. That's actually, you bring up a good note. Stivers hadn't fielded a team in several years, and they were supposed to have their first team in a while, and they were still having issues, I guess, with the Week 1 opener. Yep, with Northridge. So Northridge did not get to play that game. So kind of unfortunate for Northridge and Stivers as they still try to work out the kinks. But no, Stebbins had a big win over Carroll in Week 1.
That's right.
Sydney.
That's right. I did see that.
Yep.
Yes.
And then Sydney, of course, coming off that loss to Bell Fountain, so they'll kind of look to get back on track as well against a Fairborn team who routed Tecumseh in Week 1. On Friday, 41-6. So a lot going on in the MVL, and we're going to be there for all of it. Kayler Smith will be at Roush again for that game of the week. We'll see if it can live up to that Battle of Kettering. We hope those games do every week. We hope they're that good.
Yeah.
But we will have all the action for you with Operation Football Week 2. That's Kayler Smith. I'm Joey DeBerardino. Thanks for joining us again. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you out there on the gridiron.